Hey everybody, Dr. Jesse Morris here. In today's video, I want to share about my personal experience with long COVID symptoms. It's been a pretty rough phase for me around my health, and I want to also share some of the ideas and strategies that I've tried to remedy those symptoms and hopefully give people some hope and tools if you are having some lingering symptoms after having COVID. So I had COVID in July of 2022, and it seemed like a fairly normal course of the illness, but in the months that followed, I developed myocarditis, so an inflammation in the heart muscle, and I was getting burning chest pains and heart arrhythmias. It was pretty scary, honestly. So I went to Kaiser, they did all the normal tests and really couldn't find anything. And so the chest pain really lingered for a few months, and as it resolved, I was really left with a pretty significant change in my heart rhythms. So my heart would just start racing kind of out of the blue, and I really couldn't handle stress very well around that time. So in situations that would normally be kind of mildly stressful, my heart would really race and it would take a long time to slow down. Or I was having this experience where my heart would just start racing in the middle of the night, kind of out of the blue. So what I realized over time is that COVID had really messed up my autonomic nervous system, right? The part of my nervous system that speeds up and slows down my heart had really gotten dysregulated. Also, right around that time, I really was experiencing a lot of social anxiety. So I've always been a little anxious in social settings and groups, but with the long COVID experience, that social anxiety got really amplified. And it took me a while to really recognize that COVID had not only impacted my physical health, but also my mental health as well. So currently the heart arrhythmias have really calmed down. I've made a lot of progress there. Social anxiety is improving, but more recently I've been having an uptick in headaches. So a lot of chronic headaches and brain fog that I also attribute to just this kind of arc of long COVID. So definitely still a process that I'm working through. So, it's been a pretty rough year and a half or so around my health, and part of the reason I'm wanting to share about this is to also share some of the things that I've tried and some of the things that have been successful for me in kind of changing these symptoms. So, because I know there's a lot of people out there that are struggling with long COVID, or they had COVID and things just have never quite been the same ever since. So some of the things that I've tried around my health or improving the long COVID symptoms, specifically to the heart arrhythmias, I was doing a lot of vagal nerve stimulation. That was kind of one of the main things I was doing, and that was really helpful. So vagal nerve stimulation is something you can easily do at home. I made a recent video on it. Maybe I'll put a link down below to that video. So the vagus nerve is the primary nerve that slows down the heart rate, and so improving vagal tone can be really helpful to rebalance the autonomic nervous system. So another thing, just kind of part of my strategy, was just trying to reduce overall inflammation. COVID is inflammatory. When there's a low-grade long COVID experience, that can also just have an inflammatory aspect to it. So keeping a pretty clean diet, right, staying away from gluten and dairy, and then I also use a combination of anti-inflammatory supplements. So I use fish oil, curcumin, resveratrol. That's kind of anti-inflammatory supplements, and then I use vitamin D and glutathione to help regulate the immune system, and then a probiotic just for overall gut health, because a lot of inflammation actually stems from the gut. So that's also seemed helpful for me when I'm consistent with reducing inflammation. That's helpful. And then in terms of the social anxiety, I've been doing IFS therapy, internal family systems, and that's been amazing. And then I also recently came across some research that's showing that one of the mechanisms of long COVID is that the virus hangs out in the gut on a low level, leading to a lowering of serotonin levels. So low serotonin makes a lot of sense with some of the symptoms I've had. And I'm actually planning to make a whole separate video on long COVID and low serotonin and some strategies to try around that. I'll let you know what I've tried around in that regard. But, I've made some significant progress, but I'm still definitely having symptoms and not totally out of the woods yet. So the next steps really for me are I've started to work with my functional medicine mentor. I've started to do a more strict elimination diet, and then ordering some more extensive blood work to really see if we can unearth the root cause of where these symptoms are coming from. So part of the reason I wanted to share all this is, just to give some hope that this can change. And I'm feeling hopeful, and I'm also feeling hopeful that through this experience, I'm gonna gain knowledge and tools and get some insight around how to help other people who are struggling with lingering COVID symptoms. So thanks for taking a few minutes to watch this. I'll give you an update in a few weeks, and I look forward to seeing you soon.